After receiving our NES in 1989, it wasn't long before me and my cousins got our own first games. In this video, I'm going to focus on my oldest cousin's first game, CASTLEFREAKINGVANIA. Castlevania was released in Japan in 1986, but we didn't see it here stateside until May of '87. Considering the magnitude of the Castlevania series, I'd be surprised if any gamers out there haven't heard of this one. This game is an absolute classic because it combines great gameplay with an amazing soundtrack and really decent 8-bit graphics that really tie this entire package together. If you haven't played the original Castlevania, it really is a must-play. The gameplay itself is amazing. You're walking around this spooky castle, whipping monsters and candles, working your way to a boss. Each level has a boss whose health bar you see the entire level. In the past, I thought each boss had its own special weapon that you should use against him, but later I saw a playthrough where a dude just used the holy water the entire time and did amazingly well. The side weapons add a really cool dynamic to the original Castlevania. Some are really great and some are kinda worthless. They use hearts that you get from whipping candles to use them, and each weapon will have a different amount of hearts that it uses. You can't help but scream at the TV every time you accidentally pick up the pocket watch, because you know you're going to be screwed against the boss. My personal favorite weapon is the cross. I was kinda bummed when I played Symphony of the Night years later and it completely changed how the cross worked. Castlevania, in my opinion, has to be one of the best mid-run 8-bit games graphically. The sprites look detailed enough to clearly tell what they are, and the environments look great looking. I really like how every level looks vastly different from the levels before it. The game's soundtrack is one of the most classic on the system and includes the legendary track Vampire Killer, which can be heard in various remix versions throughout most of the Castlevania games. It was composed by Sato Terashima and Kinuyo Yamashita shortly after they graduated from college. Sato Terashima also composed the track Bloody Tears for Simon's Quest, which can be heard in many other Castlevania games. Looking back at this title as a kid, I have one major memory of it. I hated the jumping in it. Unlike Mario games where you have a lot of control in your platform, in Castlevania you either jump up, jump left, or jump right, and it's the same distance every time. And it's a damn short distance too. Playing it nowadays, I've gotten so used to it after playing it over the years that I don't even notice it anymore, but if you're not used to it, it can be annoying. Castlevania, besides being a lot of fun, is an extremely hard game. It took me tons of tries just to reach the 3rd level for the first time back in the day. One thing that really cranks up the difficulty factor is the huge knockback you get when you're hit by an enemy. This is going to be your worst enemy on the 4th stage, which is Frankenstein's level. There's a ton of bats that'll hit you and knock you back into the water. Nowadays I can pretty easily get to the 5th level, but once you get to that Grim Reaper level, it really separates the men from the boys. Once I hit level 5, I have to fire up the old Game Genie because I can't get through the rest of this game. The Grim Reaper level is notoriously hard, featuring a final corridor in this level that has Medusa heads and knights that take a million hits to kill. I think I've only seen this level beaten in real life maybe 5 times. The game also has unlimited continues, so it taunts you into trying again and again to perfect your skills on each level and get to level 6 and kill Dracula. Once you finally hit level 6 and you're all geared up to fight Dracula, you're treated to one of the hardest levels in the game before you get to his staircase. There are birds that drop so many fleamen on you, it's redonkulous. If you finally manage to get to Dracula, he's not exactly that hard. It's pretty feasible to get past his first form, but once you knock his head off and he goes Iseman on you, you're gonna have a bad time. His Iseman form is unbelievably hard. All he really does is jump at you and spit fire once in a while, but getting under him while he jumps at you to the other side requires perfect timing that's really hard to get down. Given how hard it is to beat this game, the ending is pretty disappointing, and it's one of those old games where after you beat it, you'll see a few credits and the game will restart and want you to do a second playthrough. Currently, an original NES Castlevania is going for about $21 on Amazon, and according to PriceCharting.com is currently worth about $18.70. For how common this game is, the price does seem a little bit inflated, and if you're looking for a copy, I would just try and find one in the wild. So, if you're not trying to collect NES games and just want to have the experience, I would go with the 500 Wii Point version on the Virtual Console. Overall, Castlevania is an absolutely must-play NES title. It has a wonderful combination of gameplay, graphics, and music. It's not a perfect game, but it's aged amazingly well, and it's a perfect entry game for 8-bit gaming to those who haven't had a chance to enjoy these games of yesteryear.